Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them.
To provide All right, test 1 2. How you guys doing? Get the audio going back. How you guys doing? Crazy week, obviously. What's up, Sean? Right on, dude. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. We've got YouTube up. We got Twitter up. That's all we're streaming nowadays. Maybe, I don't know. Is there a need to go back to Twitch? I don't feel like there is. But let's get going. Let me check the chat. Chat's not displaying. Can you see this? Oh, it's just not scrolled enough. That's right there. Okay, cool. Hey, hope you guys are doing well. Back at it. Sorry we were out last week. Went to Disneyland with the family. Not Disney World, so visited that one for the first time. A lot of similarities, but we'll cover one of the rides later in the trip. But either way, most important thing, if you can like, comment, subscribe, help us out on the YouTube algos. Tell your friends, because this is the best art stream on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter. It's not on Twitch anymore, but welcome to the weekly whale watch. We cover rainbow theory, we cover quant stuff, we cover vibes, surfing, Toyotas, you name it. But as with all warnings of everything, this is the stream is intended for educational purposes only. It's not meant to be financial advice, but as a gentle reminder, this is an art stream. We paint the charts, look at normal stuff, we look for whales, we actually see where the bottoms and tops are, and kind of get an advantage of where we are at. We've been around for a few years, so check us out at rainbowtrends.com. If you have any questions why our charts look like this, hit us up in the Discord or Twitter. We answer everything, or you can hit up the Wikipedia. It's linked on the website, and or check out all the write-ups that we have on TradingView. We recently updated, or I recently updated all this on Twitter over the breaks last year. It took freaking forever, but we have the full write-ups on all of these, all up to date on TradingView. So let's get started. How's this week going? How are you guys doing? Chat's looking good. What's up, Sean? And let's get going. So Olympics this week, and one of the most relatable experiences. That's how this week felt. Hold on. Yeah, so you guys can hear that. Let me kill that audio. So yeah, check this out. This dude is the butt lost to the foot.
Det där är ju inget vidare från Furkenackar.
The guy tried to win
Det
it
ser ju
going
underhållande
backwards.
ut alltså.
I don't know if this is probably the first time they've done a
Ursäkta, jag
slow.
skrattar, men det var inte lika graciös på.
That awesome? I would split the medal if I was first place, all I'm saying. It's pretty cool. But anyway, that's how just this week felt. Everything's been going crazy. Vibes are at all-time lows, if you guys can't tell. The Fear and Greed Index is killing it. Historical values, which now is Extreme Fear 5. Yesterday was 11. The last week was 12. Last month's Fear was 26. As far as I know, this bad boy can't go below 0, but you never know. We saw oil futures go negative a few years ago, and that was a trip, needless to say. But is it over? Are we bottoming? What's the vibes? What's the feels? It's a 8 right now. If I remember correctly, the old Foo articles, Bitcoin Panda, I think it was below 15 or 20. He typically nibbles a bit, but he's been kind of out of the markets lately. He, I guess, as all people say, called the top, got out, but I believe he is actually out. So anyway, but Fear and Greed showing that vibes are all-time lows. But just to let you know, Michael Saylor has confirmed he's never been more bullish. And yet, MicroStrategies continues to buy Bitcoin. So, Strategy has acquired, oh boy, another 2,500 Bitcoins at $168 million at a $67,000 per Bitcoin price. So, if you guys don't know, his current DCA average after all these years is higher than the current price. So, bravo, Saylor, for buying the highs and doing that only, pretty much. He only buys range highs with his algos on low time frames with full automation through Coinbase. So I never understood the strategy because he doesn't buy low or try to ever buy the dip for some reason. But yeah, he's underwater, which is fun. But he's all-time bullish, and to clear the rumors, he came back out and actually told you where his liquidation point is, because people always assumed if you get below his DCA, he's liquidated. That's never been the case. He's always had mechanics in the strategy of how he can back everything up and not get liquidated. We'll see if that's true, though, but for the most part, it's been under his DCA for a bit now. I don't recall in the other crypto cycles if MicroStrategies was ever this long below his average. We're not super below it. It's not like we're 50% below his DCA, but we have had, what is it, at least a week, maybe 2 weeks below his DCA, because he top blasted some numbers last time that I didn't even see him on the chart, just how high he DCA'd in on his last Bitcoin, second to last Bitcoin purchase. But yeah, either way, though, he did come back and say, yo, MicroStrategies can handle prices up to, or down to, sorry, $8,000. So yeah, ask from Twitter. You're right. 8K. That's how bullish he is. So he's gonna keep buying it at highs. So to check MicroStrategies, MicroStrategies has been bleeding for a very long time. We've got for the people who haven't seen this before, this is a rainbow trends chart, main indicator, machine learning reversion bands, RSI tool, the split volume tool down here. Earnings was on February 5th, down, shocker. But he's been bleeding out for a very long time, and he's hanging out in this reversion band. You typically can't hang in this thing for so long. So people are considering, hey, is the Bitcoin chart showing us a bottom? We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that, right? I should have done that in the intro. We're going to give you the top 10 reasons why OpenClaw is the best MicroStrategy strategy to DCA at higher cost with all of your autonomous agents using $10,000 Mac Minis. We're going to get all the buzzwords, cue up the algos who watch these streams, right? So, what do we say? Essential oils, leggings, Christmas gifts. What are the other triggers? I can't reset my Coinbase password. I need help. Help desk. We'll get it all in there. We'll get it all. Anyway, back to this. The MicroStrategies chart. We're bleeding and we're hanging out into some super, super bullish territories. This goes back to kind of some of the stuff we have seen in years past. You can only bleed for so friggin' long before it pops and the whales reverse and the bulls come out to play. Bears can't do infinite drives to zero short of stuff happening like Luna where there's a fundamental issue with it all. I say issue in the back end. Slight coders were wrong. But yeah, that's what we're talking about. So anyway, shout out Esk. Let you know this stream is being brought to you by a 3080 Ti. If you guys don't know, Esk is got more experience with GPUs, making data centers and everything else than I've ever seen. Piles of GTX or RTXs everywhere. Anyway, MicroStrategies. I don't know if this thing's done, but don't be shocked if this thing pulls a full reversion up into this band here, the green band. It's done it before. It tends to do it across all markets with other setups. So he's saying he's not vulnerable. So he's going to keep top blasting in MicroStrategy or Bitcoin and get this high DCAs. But man, what a goofy dude doing a goofy thing. I mean, in hindsight, not hindsight, but like, how bad is this really? Yeah, it just looks like a few inches on the charts, right? Bam. He's currently 80% down draw. Whew, I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was 80. That's the worst, though. He's really... he's much better. He's in the 76. Much better than 80, right? Yeah, so... Oh, he's only got 20% more to go, right? That's the thought. No. Just reminder, at all times... there is always 100% down draw below you. Just keep that in mind. And sometimes, if you're like oil futures, there's more than 100% drawdown. But anyway, moving on. MicroStrategies, watch for a reversal to print. Don't be shocked if it happens. And if it does, the home run, guys, it's been a few weeks. Sorry, it's been 2 weeks. The home run play is to get that one over there, hit the other side of the reversion band. That's the goal. So we'll see. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Has it happened in the past multiple times? It has. We'll see if that's the case here. Let me check one thing on Twitter. I don't want to call it X. I still have the hardest time calling it X, but anyway. Moving on. So, if you guys don't remember, one of the biggest things that's happening in Wall Street and crypto right now, it's the Clarity Act. Long story short, this is like the bill. This is the bill that like defines and regulates, not regulates, but gives clarity to everything related to crypto. And this is the one that Coinbase pulled out of last minute and didn't properly give the White House an advance notice that they were pulling out and leaving the negotiations dry. It's been continuing. It's been a few weeks since, or I think it's been at least a week since that happened. Trump got royally pissed. He wanted to make a deal, make the banks work with crypto, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I believe it all comes down to a big part of this is the amount of like staking rewards you can get on stable coins. Banks want to give you like 0.25% per year on your money in the bank that's depreciating at what, a 5-7% a year rate at this point on average. It's absolute garbage. And then on the flip side, Brian Armstrong's throwing down to give you 3% rewards on your stables that are depreciating at a 5 to 7% interest rate. So it's whatever. They're fighting like crazy. And a reminder. Well, we've got the other charts too to cover, but this was the moment when Brian Armstrong pulled that one. Now, maybe there's a reason they didn't give the White House a heads up that, hey, they're pulling out. I don't know. Coinbase has done some goofy stuff, so I'm not surprised. But that is literally the 24-hour window when the news hit. Bitcoin was $95,000. When Coinbase pulled out of that thing, Bitcoin pulled down for 37%. So he's throwing down, Coinbase is throwing down over percentage rewards on stables right now. That's what they're fighting over. Banks hate it. Coinbase is fighting it, and then it's for some reason he's not communicating with the White House when they make decisions like that. We proceeded to bomb 37%, and we started printing stuff we normally do not see on the H4 time frame with rainbow trends. You'll see we have a rainbow reversion marker here. That is an H4 print going white, and that's marking the first yellow candle, so the first less bearish candle printed, and that was at $64,000, and then it ended up going back all the way up to 62. You'll also notice some key things here. The RSI went all the way down to pink and rotated. Had you caught the RSI bottom, you would have been, I think, 62,000. If you guys don't know what the RSI bottom is, go into the RSI tool here, and you can see RSI tops and bottom signals. I've got kind of a nice little simple algo that marks RSI bottom. So basically, when you get the first reversal, that's what it's going to give you the print. It'll show you the first time when you have a string of like RSIs stop printing. So that candle would have given you 60, 65-ish is when that would have hit. So we had some down draws, but in general, when I start looking for RSI bottoms, it's inside this reversion band. So let me turn that off because it's a little busy. But the RSI's rotations, hot. Rainbow colors on the actual candle prints, hot. Inside the reversion bands, like bang, like very, very good times here normally. Now, if we're going into, hey, the 4-year cycle's over, it's over forever, you are talking about prolongation going down into maybe the 40s where this can keep bouncing into this reversion band. But so far, if you ignore the 4-year cycle, you look at what the rainbow stuff's telling you and what the whales are trying to do, that's a big overreaction. It should eventually wake up stuff. It should. Has it yet? No. Does it have to? No. But that's enough. This move here, I lost my paintbrush. There we go. This big move here is enough to should wake up bulls. They haven't taken a swing at it yet. We've had some retests of these pivots. Mind you, there's a ton of pivots here, but we are getting slightly lower lows here with weaker colors. And now the White House is thinking they've got a deal done with Coinbase and the banks. Maybe we mean revert back up to 92. Like we get some type of recovery back up to this area here. It would be really, really sweet to return back up to the origin where the market bounced. It'd be cool, right? That's kind of the home run idea short term where we're at. Yeah. Experimenting with a little tool here with projected RSI levels. Not released in Rainbow Trends yet, but I'm considering it. I'm actually really liking it so far. But anyway, so catching up on some of our OGs. Pep saying, apparently my superpower is that I can trade Zora at 100% hit rate. Love Pep and Stacks. It's a great duo. So Pep's been asking back and forth with me, man, do you think it's Wyckoff? And I was like, man, it's like, to me, it's a violent rainbow reversion where it's hit so deep in the bands it should force it. But I do see what he's talking about. In general, this is like an H1 chart. I kind of see what he's saying, but just me being cynical, I guess. What's up, Fletch? In general, I don't look for Wyckoff setups inside of intervals that don't look like they're going to be like maybe 45, 60 days is kind of the shortest time frame. I've seen people paint Wyckoff charts with like 1 minute candles, and that's whales aren't like that in my opinion, or at least reliable whale readings, because you can get instantaneous whale prints and stuff like that. You can get signals from the whales, but for Wyckoff specifically, you're looking for market patterns. I don't think the big boys swing at those levels at that speed. I think they're much slower than that. It's just the general vibe of how I've been able to read it. We've caught some Wyckoff stuff in the past. We're going to catch some Wyckoff stuff in the future. That's my general take on it. Now, what he's saying, though, is I do see this looking like it's forming a bottom. It is actually starting to kind of look like a Wyckoff where we're about to jump the creek. And if that's the case, that'd be really, really cool. But it remains to be seen. But for his 100% Zora shots, there you go. There's your Zora chart on the H2. Aren't these pivots cool? They react to it so keenly. But there's you a full bleed out, pink RSI, then bam. You bleed hard into this band, you touch typically that band. It's pretty crazy. And then you can see the machine learning here because it's getting burned into with those pink candles. You ever see Pixotalk Pinks and Cyans? That's them because he shorts these and then he rides the backside, which that would have been 50% pullback. He would have leveraged if he had caught that. But anyway, you can see him bouncing. Pivots are freaky, dudes. I can't justify why they work, but the whales respect them. And that's really interesting, actually seeing all those whale prints there. Bam, 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 back and forth fighting. What's a little volume spike? But anyway, let's moving on. So, going to the real OGs, Scottie Pippen's drawing his lines on Bitcoin. I hope one day we find out who's really behind this account and why. I know he had like the ball crypto coin. I guess he's still doing that. Game5ball.com. Is this still? Yeah, the website's still here. So yeah, it's tokenized Game5 ball. So yeah. Taxes are coming, so this may wake back up because I believe he had IRS issues when this came up. But I don't believe me. I don't know a thing about Scottie Pippen. I'm more of a Rodman guy myself. But yeah, that's the ball that's apparently tokenized on chain, which you know, you ever see people say build? We gotta build out the markets and all, bring everybody on chain, you know. That's what we needed. Game5 ball from the 90s in front of them. Oh man, I you know, at this point, what is there left to build? I really don't know. But remember, this is an art stream. There's your Mona Lisa. Moving on. So something interesting in the books that we caught. I say we caught. Saw it on Twitter. Jane Street Capital is apparently one of the second most buyers of IBIT in Q4. So a lot of people take that as bullish. Oh, it's great. Jane Street, the origins of tanglement of what became Alameda, which became the whole FTX shenanigans. Jane Street roots go into Sam Turbucco, goes into Caroline, goes into Sam Bankman-Fried. Whole big mess. They may be hedging with IBIT and then be leveraged to the gill short on Bitcoin. Remains to be seen. But with all things IBIT, let's go to Clarity. Let's look at Coinbase, see how serious they are. We're talking Q4 IBIT purchasers with Jane Street. Well, Coinbase decided to post their Q4 financial results while playing video games up top to give you absolute brain slop, or what do they call it? Brain whatever. This is the actual Coinbase account. They actually posted this on February 12th. My kids love this game, but guys, I really need Coinbase to do good. I don't need this. It's supposed to be a serious company, guys. It's getting kind of scary. So that's this kind of scary thing. One of the cool things that actual Coinbase is doing, you can get your percent stables or your percentage back on holding stables, USDCs particular, on Coinbase. But instead of getting USDC rewards, they're actually enabling it to where you can get your rewards back in Bitcoin. I actually think that's pretty cool. So I try to give you guys some positives, the bearish with the bullish. I also try to give some ridiculousness with the cool stuff that I like. I'm really rooting for Brian Armstrong in the team, but dear Lord, they're doing some weird stuff. So, other thing, if you guys didn't catch, the Base Network, the Base thing that Jesse Polak does that does amazing things, right? They've been building. They're building, right? I don't know what the F they're building, but they're building, and it's important. Apparently, they walked away from optimism to create their own DeFi because apparently the current chains aren't handling what is going on. And lo and behold, can you see the whales fleeing? Can you also see where the bulls actually said that's enough, it's a good enough for me to buy? That's where this stuff helps you out with the colors. Like, if we turn all this off, it's actually really hard to tell what's going on. But full-on well-print cluster, The news came out, Coinbase was dropping Optimism. That's not good for Optimism users or buyers, whatever. It means price normally is going to violently market react, and that's exactly what we saw here. Heavy buying and selling on the split volume tool. But if you look here, you didn't really see the bulls wake up until that area, which correlates to here. So when I say the bulls wake up, the sales eventually started triggering heavy buys. With every product, you can only go so far down before a bull says, F it, I'll buy millions of it. I don't care. You've gone far enough. I'm willing to take this risk because the odds start flipping into my favor when you push the colors that high. This is another combo. This is the opposite of pinks and cyans. This is white candles in red bands with pink RSI. So right now what you're seeing is you're about to see the candles rotate in color, and you're about to see the RSI rotate. So if this continues to build a floor, you're going to see these RSI prints stop. You'll get an RSI bottom signal, and then you're likely to see a pop out of this thing. So to be honest, if there's not a second leg here, you're looking pretty good to get an entry to try to catch a bounce. Now, if we're setting up for a home run setup, Rainbow Theory 101, if we're buying on this band here deep, we want to follow these bands and try to get the move over here. That's the home run. The single or the double is at least you get kind of into the median, right? So, pray for the home run. Be happy with that. Be prepared for a riot at the baseball game. I'm not a baseball dude guy, but anyway, you could still go down lower with another leg. Maybe you could find out the system's hacked as well, the Optimism founders in the Epstein files. I don't know, something like that. But you've got a clear idea. It's like, hey, there's a good likelihood this pops and bounces. The Bears have run out of steam. It's time for the Bulls to cause a market reaction to balance the books. That's kind of what this is looking for. So, anywho, moving on. That's how you set those up. That's how you play Rainbow Trend stuff, Rainbow Theory trades, and how you trade them with in relation to full blowouts. That's a full blowout. And it's news-based, right? It's not like Coinbase can go out here and announce again that they're dropping Optimism. Maybe they could come out and give reasoning why, and it's really damning, but it's just is what it is. But yeah, that's just kind of a nice setup, and you can add a stop loss and not be so scared trading a shitcoin. So anyway, moving on. DC Investor says it as well. Getting worried these guys missing their window, to be honest. Hope I'm wrong. Brian's preaching that market structure is making great progress, and I believe we're going to reach a win-win-win outcome. A win for the crypto industry, a win for the banks. They're talking about the Clarity Act thing that we talked about earlier. Regardless, Coinbase, please open up your PR person role again and hire somebody who can actually work with these dudes. I know damn well they're talking to their higher-ups that they hired. Not the higher-ups, but like Kobe has to be on these chats. And they keep doing stuff. There's just no way Kobe's thumbs-upping on this. I just wouldn't believe it. Which, maybe that's what the industry needs is an episode of Up Only, but we'll see. Moving on, Coinbase. Coinbase be pivoting. Why? It's bleeding like MicroStrategies, believe it or not. Earnings, not so great. Surprise, negative 350%. Whew. Estimated earnings was going to be 1. Standardized was negative 2.5. Revenue down as well. They scale when everything's going just absolutely parabolic, and then they just don't know how to handle it. They did this last time when we had the meme coin run, when Doge and SHIB were going absolutely bonkers. And for some reason, their market analysis projected the income they would make if those types of volumes continued for like another 2 years. And it was like, if we ride this Doge trend for another 2 years, we're going to make this much revenue, we're going to need this many employees, And then they ended up having to axe like, I don't know what percentage of the team, but they cleared house when prices went back to normal and volume died off. So their big message now is build, bring everybody on chain. I don't know if everybody needs to get on chain. And whatever they keep trying to build, there doesn't seem to be a clear thing. They have all the power in the industry to build some of the coolest tech and the cool stuff, and they're just not. And I'm really hoping they work that, because they have the tools to do really cool stuff. They're not. I don't know. They're building, but they're not saying like what they're building. They're just talking about building to bring people on and flywheels and stuff. So anyway, moving on. So big thing, Base apparently flushed out a lot of stuff, I think. Base fully pivoted from a bunch of stuff. So rumor is that Coinbase is shutting Base down. Top apps already leaving. Zora gone to Solana, for example. No token coming. Betting odds on a token in 26 got smashed. Armstrong endlessly dumping Coinbase stock. That is true. He sells the Coinbase stock all the time. Sinking shit, Base, blah, blah, blah. Jesse actually did some apologies earlier. I don't know how they yanked the leash on that dude to actually get him to pivot. But listen to this. This was actually kind of interesting, because it was basis for builders, and then they were doing all the memes and all this other random stuff earlier this year. It made no sense. But now they're pivoting. And he last minute decided to go to F Denver, and just listen to this, because this is a weird vibe. I don't know what to make of it.
I woke up this morning at 4 a.m. and flew to ETH Denver, and it was a last-minute decision. And the reason I did it was because it's honestly been like a little noisy on the internet, and I felt like I needed to be surrounded by builders. And I just got off stage, and I think one of the things that really resonated from the conversation I had with Austin Griffith from the Ethereum Foundation, who's done an awesome job bringing agents to Ethereum and Base, was just the importance of this like relationship between traders and builders, and capital, and the people who are producing apps and assets, and progress in the ecosystem, and how important that relationship is, and also like how much work we have to do in order to make it really work on both sides, so that traders become investors and have better and better asset opportunities to invest in, and so that builders continue to benefit from these flywheels of capital, and also have the space to build products that are long-term and have longevity. And if there's one thing that I really want us to solve as a Base ecosystem in 2026, it's that. It's like working together. It's making the flywheel of tokenization work really well for builders, for traders, and then using that flywheel to grow the overall economy and bring people on chain. And so it's going to happen across agents. It's going to happen across AI. We're going to see experiments across every sector, because we think markets and tokenization are going to integrate into every sector of the economy. And it's up to us to chart that future. And so it's been so awesome being on the ground here in ETH Denver, and excited to spend more time with builders today, and then fly back home and get back to work tomorrow.
So if you can't tell, he's about to cry. It's just, I don't know. It's a weird vibe in general. Originally, it was like Base is for everyone. The Base was for builders. Then Base was for social media and memes. Then they started tokenizing all the stocks. Then it was like for social media, like the Zora stuff. And now they're pivoting to Bases for agents. And then that's going to flywheel capital to invest. It's just so many buzzwords in 90 seconds. Jesse just needs to stay weird and do weird stuff. The constant pivots is weird. I don't know what to make of it. They can't just keep pivoting and bases for building, then bases from it's just your target's going to go crazy. You can't stay put. Like, what are we building? It's just building nonstop, and they keep changing the targets. Not once do they talk about a product, other than they say we need to make products that actually work. But like, what type of products? Like, what do we need that hasn't been built yet? To be honest, let's be real here. What is going to be awesome? Like, they're talking about tokenizing real world assets. Like, I get that, but that work's already been done. It's just legality stuff at this point, and they already have a kick-ass legal team. And even then, it's not the legal team who's going to spearhead that from Coinbase. So anyway, so I'm hitting you with two weird things at once, but apparently live view of Armstrong. That dude shockingly looks like Armstrong. Anyway, moving on. Ethereum. So Tom Lee doesn't stop. Bitmine bought another 45,000 ETH. See you, Sean. Thanks for coming. F is the same chart as Bitcoin, just a little bit more violent. Same thing. Right here is when the Coinbase pulled out of the White House deal and did not warn the Trump administration before announcing that. Armstrong, please keep just shoot one of the Trumps a text. It's not cool. Do your thing, but definitely don't pull a quickie on them because you're gonna burn blood. And you remember Venezuela got invaded because Trump saw Maduro dancing and mocking him. Like, little dumb stuff can trigger those dudes, and it hurts. He may just say, F this, we're going with Jamie Dimon's plan, right? So be careful. It just is what it is. But Ethereum, it's the same thing, dudes. RSI is rotating. The candle colors are rotating. It's pulling out. We're trying to see where we go here. My immediate target is this median, so 2,800. That would be a hell of a trade, 2,000 to 28. If we get it. It'd be a little hard to get into that reversion band, but if we did, that's a 40% move on Ethereum. I'd love to see it. I'm just not super hitting up on it. So, following up on the rest of the trenches, Barney posted this day, and I was dying laughing and sent this to Dime. So, state of the trenches. So, we talk about like basis for builders. They've already got people bidding and winning on traffic. So, apparently you can bet now on traffic with live views, which leads to like market. You could get a whole group of people in cars and like manipulate this, but this dude's up 150 sol betting on traffic. I don't. It's amazing. And just like, hey, what are we gonna build next on crypto? I've seen hamster racing. I've seen catfish racing. We've seen the pump fun stuff, and now we have guys trading Solana betting on traffic cams. Anyway, I'm bullish on the traffic cam, but yeah, in general, this feels like it's the entire crypto market is just hoping to God that Bitcoin holds it together. Because if Bitcoin doesn't find something to correlate to that's going up, we're in some hurt. Solana, $82. It's amazing. We're outside of our legendary high time frame block. We actually broke through this damn thing. Channel walked down into it, bounced off. I thought we had the setup. Bam, bam, lights out. So, mind you, this thing almost was $300 and now it's $82. Absolutely insane. Almost got through the entire red band on the daily. It's mental. $67. That's what I talk about, like the bulls coming out to play. At some point, they just don't care because the mean reversion percentages come back so far in their advantage. Yeah. That immediate bounce from that candle was 31% on spot. Checking some other trenches. Fartcoin. Never been better. Dip Wheeler's going to make it, right? This is a 100 billion liquidity, I say market cap project. I'm not the meme guy. I don't like them. They don't tend to run for very long. Although I do like PopCat for all the wrong reasons. Cardano, I don't know if it's true, but I saw some stuff where like Charles Hoskin was saying he's going to sunset the chain or something like that. Anyway, Hoskin's going to do some weird stuff wearing flannel no matter what you do. But regardless, when I was talking earlier about the setups of the home run versus at least the median, this is an example of the median play. So that's the dead center of the reversion bands. That's the equilibrium between the reversion bands. That's definite bleed out into the actual red reversion band for support. Rainbow candle or rainbow signals, rotations, RSI, all the stuff. So when you get that much pain and signals in that reversion band, that's your home run right there. This is your middle ground where you can at least get some of your gains. That's like TP1, TP2, right? So far, ADA has really only done like 15%, and the home run would be like 40 or 30, depending on how long this goes. Because remember, the longer this goes, these move down with the trend, so you got to kind of gauge it. It's a dynamic level. It's not like just doing vertical stuff, but hey, that's the nature of the wells. So moving on, actual real stuff. OpenAI is finalizing $100 billion in funding round led by Amazon. So that's swell. led by Amazon, SoftBank, and NVIDIA. Hold on. Oh, $100 funding round led by Amazon, SoftBank, and NVIDIA that would value the company above $850 billion. 850. Almost a trillion. So let's check out NVIDIA. NVIDIA, dudes, has been going sideways. One of the kind of crazy, interesting things I've seen them do in the recent pivots, NVIDIA has sunset a lot of their lower cards that had high memory, and they've re-released them with like basically half the GDDR7 RAM, which is fine. But they're short on chips. We even saw Hansen going over to South Korea last quarter. Is it Q3 or Q4 last year? It was securing some chip deals, but the manufacturing of those chips is still a problem. And they actually halted some of the gaming line, some of the RTX gaming video cards because they just don't have the memory chips to do it. So I don't know when this is ever going to happen or how they're going to fix it. DDR5 RAM is more expensive than AR-15s at this point. DDR4 RAM's getting up there to AR-15 levels. Even the DDR4 server RAM that I'm trying to get for my AI build is getting absolutely impossible to find. It's actually cheaper for me to buy bare bones broken computers and get the RAM out of it than it is to just buy the damn sticks of RAM. So yeah, that's cool. But this dude's a monster and it's just stalling. It's been stalling since 2025, just sideways. We haven't really seen a move. We got this awesome move here. There's a home run reversion band play, band to band, with a 48% move that ended up going probably 100%. What is it, $88 all the way to $212? So yeah, way up. But if you notice on the right, I've got a list of things here called DDR7. So I've been looking at all the aspects of all the different manufacturing looking that supports NVIDIA. Particularly stuff more focused around AI center manufacturing, as well as like the production of the actual NVIDIA card components. CPUs aren't really the processing chips aren't really squeezed yet. It's really the memory that's killing everything. And a lot of this stuff is made in Taiwan, and as well as South Korea. And China is itching to get into Taiwan, which would shut down a lot of I don't know if the memory or the chips, but either way, Taiwan is a risk of this and messing up with the supply chains. So I wanted to show you guys this. So NVIDIA is flat out telling you they can't keep the chips coming to feed the AI clusters. They're pulling back on the gaming stuff. One of the biggest companies, the biggest company market cap wise in the world, is telling you they can't get enough stuff to make the chips that everyone wants to buy. Friendly reminder, Micron Technologies is the only United States manufacturer that makes these chips. So in the event there's any supply chain disruptions overseas in Asia, this is the only one that can supply NVIDIA chips in the United States to NVIDIA at this current point. This type of GDDR7 RAM production is insane. It's hard to do and you can't replicate it. It's not something you can spool up quickly. They've been up only for since September. Really, if you want to count that. So had you had the stones to buy the white and hold it past the home run play for short term, it's up 600%. You look at SanDisk, dude. SanDisk is nut. Micron, what was it? Micron Technology, straight up. And then old school Western Digital, one of my favorite hard drive suppliers, straight up. You need memory. You need fast memory, SSD memory. You also need RAM. It's something that there is no chill on right now. And there's no good solution either. It's not like these chip production is super, super hard. It's not like they can do it fast. To the point, AMD CPU sales are falling off the face of the earth. So check this out. So Amazon's data for January 2026 shows desktop CPU sales dropped sharply year over year, with about 26,000 units sold compared to roughly 64,000 units in January 2025, a decline of around 60%. If you guys remember last stream I covered, or it was maybe 2 streams ago, the number one selling CPU on Amazon was a DDR4 variant. Old school technology of, I believe it was the 5800X. that AMD released during COVID. Nobody could get DDR5, so DDR4 stuff started getting hot. And now nobody can even get DDR4. And needless to say, while I have built a DDR3 gaming rig, no one else really is. But even now, DDR3 is getting super expensive. So it's getting real weird, guys. But that's what I say is Micron MU may not stop. We'll just have to see what happens. AMD chart, not doing so hot. It's still not in the reversion band yet, so I'm not playing with it, and there's really no motion on it yet down here in the volume. But anyway, moving on. Intel, on the other hand, if you guys remember from way back, that's when the CEO bought. The former CEO of Intel bought a ton of stock here right in that reversion band, and then they nuked. We actually bought some here, sold on the other side, because this is an art channel. And then we had the United States take a partial ownership, and it's just been absolutely mental since then. But dudes, if you caught the cap down accumulation range here and had the stones to hold it, she's up 170%. Looking a little bit better than Fartcoins, all I'm saying. Now, real world news. There are currently 36 F-16s and 12 F-22s on the move, about to depart towards the Middle East. F-2020 Raptors have departed Langley Air Force Base. So that was February 17th. Needless to say, they're stacking cruise ships, they're stacking fighter jets in southern Iran. And it looks like they're about to move on Iran. And with all PSYOPs, there are distractions afoot. Apparently, Obama just decided to talk in an interview and say that flat out aliens are real. So check this out, because this is fun. So distraction from war, distraction from Epstein.
They're real.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted?
So, that's fun. Let's not go into Epstein files. Let's attack Iran, and let's also admit aliens are real. So then Trump commented on this today and said Obama gave away classified information on aliens, which is an odd thing to say, because it's not like there are classified documents on unicorns and leprechauns, but apparently there are classified documents with aliens, which are not supposed to be real. And then as I was making the slide deck for this stream today, which all you guys, lovely people, currently logged into on Twitch and not Twitch, YouTube and on X. No, it's real. It's not a deepfake, Fletch. So apparently, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and the other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomenon, and unidentified flying objects, and any other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. Now, there's some really interesting key things here. You'll notice that he says UAP and then he says UFO. So way back in the day, the government referred to alien technology or alien stuff as unidentified flying objects. The word eventually got out to say, hey, that's what the government internally refers to on classified information. They call it UFOs. So the government changed the acronym for these from UFOs to UAP. That way, if you went looking for UFOs, you wouldn't naturally search and find the newer documents that related to UAP. Hillary Clinton dropped that piece of nugget accidentally or unintentionally maybe 10 years ago. She was on an interview and announced, like, oh no, we call it UAP now. And that kind of tipped people off. And then everyone started digging for classified UAP files, and a bunch of them got up, yada, yada, yada. We have the New York Times file on the Tic Tac, and that stuff gets out. So it's actually really interesting that he mentions that. He's saying, hey, I'm not just releasing the old school UFO files. I'm telling the departments to say UAP and UFOs. Now, he also talks a lot of trash And there's a lot of stuff that's just absolutely crazy that he tweets at all times. But that's a subtle thing that's actually kind of interesting in this tweet. And like I said, let's distract everybody from war. This is the anti-war administration now, pro-war, and then anti-Epstein or pro-Epstein release to now we're done, not doing it. Now they're just going to say, you know what? Here's aliens, right? Let's, 2020, let's do this. I think Cardano is the leading benefactor. If they announce aliens are real, I think Cardano smart contracts are going to lead the way with the UAP declassification. It's obviously the best train for United States research on the aerial phenomenons. Yeah. I don't know how to spin this, but if they drop Epstein files, half the Epstein files, and they drop aliens are real all in the same year, what a year. All I'm saying. Now, gold and silver reacting, they're crashing. Gold, full pullback. Yeah, Fletch. It is, I think, a diversion. There's been rumors that he's been ready to drop the bomb and drop a speech about aliens being real for a while, but I just don't know anymore. I mean, mind you, Prince Edward's got arrested today, so all fun. I'm sure it's just a circus for the UK to show that they're actually doing something. Long story short, you do stuff that messed up, you guys need to put those dudes in jail, bad. I just want to see criminals treated like criminals. All I'm saying. Gold, spectacular pullback, 5,600 all the way back to 44. Mental, full-on flush shakeout. Shout out Dime. In a crazy turn of events, Dime selling physical gold, physical silver at like $78 an ounce on the first pink candle on silver with a white RSI, to then watch it go from 78 all the way to 123 and then revert back to 60. Well done. He's still above what the current price is. Silver doesn't move at all. Silver never touches reversion band. Silver never prints pinks and whites, and it freaking did here. It's absolutely mental. It's so crazy. But anyway, yeah, what a time to be alive, Fletch. It's great. Moving on. Just-in inflation falls to 2.4, below expectations of 2.5%. We're going to have some issues if we get into deflation territory. That is not a good thing. It's not something you want to see in alts to make the market numbers go up. Our shifted channel walk has shifted outside of the second layer here. It's not, spoiler alert, it's not a good thing. This very well may just be doing a reaccumulation range. And then going, I don't know yet. Reminder, the new federal chair is coming in May. So maybe this goes sideways till May and dumps. I don't know. Something to keep an eye on. The general trend up is now sideways, like confirmed. So we really have to pay attention to that. So moving outside of that, moving up to our beloved Gentile, the last guy we interviewed on the stream. Well, he does have like 13 cats. He had to put down our oldest cat today. Sad day, Taki. We'll have to miss you. I like the orange cats. Very sad for Gentile. So much love, Gentile. He seems angry. I like the orange cats. Don't tell Dime. But since we're talking Gentile, we have to talk Rivian. I came back from Disney, remember? And he's the king of doing the Rivian Cars spinoffs, and we got to go ride the actual Cars ride. This damn thing had like 150-minute waits at some points. And I have a suspicion these things are actually EVs and they're not actually running on gas, even though they make gas noises. I'm kidding, but they do 40 miles an hour, and it was an absolutely fantastic roller coaster. Rivian, we caught the bounce here, didn't get to the other side, but we definitely, we bought here, and bam, popped up. I think it was like a Thursday or Friday we longed that. Got in at like 14 and some change, and went all the way up to 18. It's phenomenal. But now it's pulling back. We'll see what happens. Shout out RJ. Big fans. The other EV company we always look at because it trades like a crypto asset. Tesla proceeded to hit their reversion bands. They did, but the main thing was this order block. it tagged the order block, which I don't know why we don't have this painted anymore, but there's an order block here, and let me switch that to red. We hit it, and we proceeded to fall right out of it. We did have a general trend thing going on here, working up, It broke through it. Not a fan. Now, I haven't made a Tesla entry since... we're coming up on a year. I haven't messed with Tesla since March. In all honesty, March, April. That's really the last time I longed it. And now, maybe we'll get the reset. I don't know. I'm actually seeing like really, really good improvements with Grok at this point. I used to be ChatGPT Maxi, especially the 4.0 model, because Grok kept giving me wrong answers. I got into a big fight with Claude this week. The default presets are way too freaking confident, and it actually messed up my AI build that I've been planning after I already had the purchases go through and won the bids on eBay. So I'm a bit salty because once I finally switched over to Grok actually started nailing the answers to saying, yeah, that's wrong. This is the right way. But I digress, and we're moving forward. So we're talking Tesla, we're talking Rivian, we're talking really cool CEOs. We're going to move on to our other CEOs. Kevin Leary wins a $2.8 million defamation lawsuit against crypto influencer Ben Armstrong, a.k.a. BitBoy. It's amazing what BitBoy does. This is the kind of news we dreamed of in 2017, and now we have reality of Kevin Leary taking BitBoy to court. What a day. It's amazing. Shout out to both of you. Big fans of both. Because it's pure entertainment. Anyway, moving on. Big thing this week has been OpenClaw AI. People have been... I've never seen so many Mac Minis on my timeline. But some of the legit guys that I follow, especially like Dan over at TrendSpider. Shout out, Dan. They've actually been using OpenClaw in a setup where they have like a visual queue with like a manager, and they have all the different agents, and they sit there and work for them. And it's actually piqued my interest. I'm not going to be sitting here shilling out tokens to all these different OPU calculations. I want to be able to build this, but build it up for myself and do local compute. So I've been doing a huge research project the past 2 weeks, digging in what's the best bang for the buck, because you see all these people stacking Mac Minis, and I was like, man, that does not seem right to me. So I've been really digging into Claude as well as Grok on, hey, what are the calculations? What can I pull off with these budgets? Best bang for the buck. Looking at like some of the old server infrastructure that is getting dumped on Amazon. And I've been seeing a lot of fun stuff because people just been buying Mac Minis and posting on Twitter and like, oh man, look at this. And then you see the actual people who have the issues with it. So they're trying to run the 70 billion parameter AI models in the Mac Minis. And one of the crazy things that Macs do that other things don't, they have unified memory. So what does that mean? Typically, when you're running the AI models, you load them into VRAM and not into the system's RAM. I.e., say you have 12 gigabytes of DDR RAM, and then you have a video card with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. The AI models only load effectively into the VRAM, which is your 8 gigabyte limitation. Well, these big models need big amounts of VRAM to run, to load up into and then actually start number crunching. Well, video cards are impossible to get right now, so getting the big 24 gigabyte 5090s is like impossible. Even the used 4090s and 3090s are like impossible to get. So these Macs have a thing called unified memory where the VRAM is shared with the DDR system RAM. So when you get a Mac Mini that's got 48 gigabytes of RAM, it can be used as VRAM. It's not as fast as a typical like NVIDIA card, but the dollar per gigabyte of effective, technically VRAM memory that you can run an AI is way cheaper for a bit. When you're talking specifically like the latest NVIDIA stuff. So you're getting these guys who are basically setting up Mac Minis, but they're not actually doing the compute locally. They're having other AIs in the cloud that they're paying tokens to, and they're getting these crazy monthly bills. This guy's actually trying to get the maxed... I don't know if it's the maxed out. I think 48 gigs is the maxed out on the Mac Mini. but he's learning he can't run the 70B models on there. So the cool thing about Mac Minis, they're super cheap for the base ones. So I think, yeah, when these aren't MSRP for the base model Mac Minis, $599. Now you can orchestrate AI with this. That's totally cool, and but it only comes with like 16 gigabytes of memory. The guy in the previous one had 48. But if you actually kick this up to the like 64 gigabyte level, which you need to run some of the decent models, this is now a $2,000 investment, and it can't run the big stuff yet. So what they're finding out is, hey, the Macs kind of work, and you can network them together, and they can work jointly, and like there is some value there. But what the people are pitching, like, oh, fully autonomous OpenClaw agents running giant 70B models, da-da-da-da, it's not really a thing that's working here. What you actually have to move up to is the Mac Studio, which, if you get a Mac Studio at the 256 level, this is now a $7,000 Mac sitting on your desk. If you get the 512, that's a $9,500 after tax. That's over $10,000 for a Mac Mini, or a Mac Studio. It's not a Mac Mini. It's still a little box, but still, that's insane. Now, given my druthers, right, that little box with 512 gigabytes of unified memory, it can do some really cool stuff. It can do a lot of local compute. There's a lot of horsepower there, but that's $10,000 for a Mac Mini. Well, a big Mac Mini. It's absolutely insane to me. I would never... I would never. It's just the easiest way to put it. Realistically speaking, you need like 64 gigabytes minimum to even really talk about partying with the badass AI models that are actually intelligent. If you sit there and load a lower tier AI locally computed, and you will think it's a complete dumbass compared to what the other stuff is you're talking to on ChatGPT, and rightfully so, because they're just not as good models. Bare minimum stuff, you're talking like a 96 Studio, it's $5,500. So, hey runner, are you gonna go buy a Honda CRF 450 dirt bike, or are you gonna buy that little cube that's on your desk? Dude, that's a hard pitch for me. That's a hard pitch for me. Now, Apple, dude, these Mac Minis are selling out like crazy. Everyone's talking about OpenClaw and showing all this stuff and build. I've yet to see anybody really talk about being truly successful with it. It's all these buildings and stuff, but they don't have clients. So, but either way, shout out builders. I built something stupid way back in the day, and it somehow caught on unexpectedly. But I digress. I am interested, right? I'm a single dude running Rainbow Trends. I do engineering full time for the oil field. Busy dad, camping, hobbies, everything else. Got kiddos. So I am wanting to try to build my own local compute. So I am going down the route of building out old, decommissioned, basically workstations, dash servers, however you want to put it. I'm right at the edge of like the real big servers coming in. So I did buy a HP Z840, and I'll keep you guys posted as this works, but essentially I'll be running a dual Xeon with a bunch of AI video cards in it, and I'll be setting it up to help me out with some of this Rainbow Trend stuff, video editing, maybe some more social posting and stuff like that. I'll let you know how it goes, and I'll document it along the way. Claude kind of screwed me in some of the setups for this. The 7840 is decent, but it's got some really weird quirks in it that I'm having to do some workarounds that I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to get through this. In hindsight, had I had the Grok from the original, I probably would have gone with one of the bigger Dell desktops. It's just only probably like another $200 more expensive. But anyway, I'll keep you guys posted. It's going to be a fun thing regardless. I'm going to be converting it from a single CPU to dual CPUs, shoving some Tesla P40 cards in here, maybe a 3090 if I can get it to fit, let alone blow up the power supply unit. But we'll see. But dude, you can get these like workstations like this off eBay for like $300 to $500 with RAM in them. Just depends on the configuration. And you can stack multiple cards in here, fire them up on Linux, and run your own AI locally. At least that's what it looks like. So I'll let you guys know how it works. With that being said, we're coming up on the hour. We are going to head over to the Rainbow Trends Discord and hang out with the OGs for the rest of the night. So check us out up at the top. There's always the Discord link here. I'm going to turn off the cameras and basically keep the mics on, and we'll move over into the Discord and hang out the rest of the night. If you guys can, like, comment, subscribe. It's really important. Let others know this is the coolest weekly art stream there is on crypto Twitter. And